Can we talk about Nancy Pelosi for a second?
Nancy Pelosi.
She's running for re-election.
Nancy Pelosi has announced she's running for re-election.
Oh, good for her.
Heaven help us.
Is she just doing this because it looks like the 29 Democrats are resigning?
2029. You mean the 29 Democrats are resigning?
Yeah, 29 Democrats are about to resign. So that she's like, well, we're going to lose the entire House to the Republicans, so I need to stay here. Is that, you think that's why she's?
Yeah, I mean, she can retire at any time or end her campaign at any time. So
you know what I think we should do, and hear me out.
Okay.
100% serious.
Hearing you.
I believe some nice gentleman should bring in a wheelchair to her office, place her in it, put a blanket on her lap, and wheel her out, bring her to a home, and make sure she's comfortable. And then we, the people, will decide what to do next.
Are you suggesting she has a Joe Biden problem?
Nancy Pelosi?
Yeah.
I mean, she's just old and out of touch and incompetent. And at a certain point, we have an age minimum, but perhaps we require an age limit as well.
She shakes when she talks.
Well, we were talking
and
about
her teeth fall out.
I mean, we're talking about this before the show started. You know, compare and contrast the mental acuity of Dr. Fauci,
who's 81,
exactly,
with Joe Biden and or Nancy Pelosi or many others.
Well, to be fair, Fauci has flip-flopped so often. Maybe he does have some kind of brain thing going on.
I mean, it's true. It's so much more about the individual person. It's you can't really put in a blanket statement and say at this age the person has to step down because some people are just sharp at an older age.
The nice thing about comparing Biden
then
to
why
Fauci,
do we have an age minimum?
No, I mean, I think the age minimum is a life experience thing. I think that's a big part of it. I mean, do you want like a 21-year-old in any of these positions?
Yo, if there's somebody who started working in, like a factory with like their family or whatever when they were 7, and they've got 15 years of experience in, a political and industrial environment, it's better than a 25-year-old who just graduated from college.
What about non-Americans?
I hear what you're saying.
What do you mean?
That move here, like Elon, a non-American that moves to the United States when they're 2, but they can't be president, and they have all these restrictions on what they can be in government. Do you think that we should get rid of that stuff?
No, I think that's good. I think that's fine. Yeah.
But age restrictions, you think we should get rid of?
Age restrictions? No, I'm in favor of putting more on.
Oh, I thought you said a young genius should have access.
I said we should have an age limit for old people, and he said, but you can't determine the life experience, blah, blah, blah. Some people, and then I said, well, we do it for young people. My point is, we have a minimum. We should have a maximum. I'm not saying definitively I completely 100% believe we should have a maximum. I'm saying let's entertain the possibility that someone who's 80 should probably retire.
You could do cognitive tests.
But the laws they are passing, they will not don't underneath.
They don't do tests.
Yeah, okay, so if a society grows great when people plant trees whose shade they know they'll never sit beneath, 80-year-olds like Pelosi and old people like Biden are not planting trees for anyone. Yeah, they're not going to see whatever happens. They don't care.
It's a complicated.
Go ahead. Sorry.
It's a complicated thing because I do think that it's an age floor is a bit different from an age ceiling here, but ultimately we have a system that's structured so that because you leave office eventually, everyone's sort of incentivized to just pull what they can out of the system for as long as they can until they leave without really thinking about the long-term consequences. Because let's say you have a young politician and sure, it's like they're not going to have to live under the policies anyway because there are different laws for them. They're above it.
Well, so my proposal was the island.
The island.
The island.
Which is?
As soon as you leave office, you get sent to an island where you will live with other people who have left office. You will own nothing, and you'll be happy.
Yeah. I have an island where I put people, but we do different categories.
A flying island.
I don't know. Maybe they can go along with them. I don't seriously think that idea is the right idea, but I'm just trying to think how do you stop someone from saying, I'm going to run for office, I'm going to get in, I'm going to extract as much as I can, and then I'm going to run away.
You don't. That's all any of them do.
Well,
right. I mean, that's all. How do you stop it?
To me,
I don't know. It might be built into democracy and representative democracy.
This is advice as head of Judicial Watch. We're nonpartisan. I give to all politicians. To me, running on a reform agenda would be a solution there. And that agenda would include term limits, balanced budget amendments, significant cuts to the federal government. Because what happens is it's not someone who's 80. It's someone who's 80 who got there when they were 40. I prefer having someone there 75 to 85 there for 10 years. That experience is of great value to society. So that's not the issue. The issue is the term of office that politicians are in And to me, I know there are a lot of conservatives who don't like the idea of term limits. I don't think it's a silver bullet. But what happens is it breeds the worst aspects of being a politician.
You're right.
Cynicism, institutionalism, contempt for other people's views who aren't in Congress because you've known it all since you've been there forever. No. We need new blood every few years.
You're right. And I think I will revise The Island statement and just say perhaps the solution is Logan's Run.
Great movie.
Yeah. Seamus, are you familiar?
I have not seen Logan's Run.
So when you turn
It's worth
30,
watching.
when you turn 30, you shuffle off the mortal coil.
Are you?
So people have
are you
lights.
spoiling it?
People have lights. Yeah, it's
I mean, we
from
laugh.
the 70s.
We laugh, but that's been the approach with Breyer. Breyer could die in office. That's why they were angry at what's Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
That's
because
a great-
she died during the Trump administration. She should have gotten out.
That's a great satirical article. Red light on Breyer's hand begins blinking red.
Yeah, that's
forced to retire.
That's the way the left looks at Supreme Court justices.
In Logan's Run, they had lights on their hands, and it was like when they were young, it was green. When they're getting old, it turns yellow. When they're about to turn 30, it starts blinking red. And then Logan's Run is,
he runs.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want to die. I'm only 30.
He just runs. He's like, all right, bye.
We
That's
got
how
a
you
runner.
escape it.
We got a runner.
Dude escapes dystopia just by running.
They
That's
could
so Chad.
remake that movie, and they could do it really, really well.
They kind of did. So there
they?
was a film I saw a few years ago. It was like, I saw it recently, but it came out about 10 years ago. It's with Justin Timberlake. It's not exactly the same, but you have a barcode on your arm that says the amount of time that you're alive for. And when it counts down to zero,
And you
die.
can buy time.
But you can buy time, yeah. So wealth is the amount of time you have. So not exactly the same, but kind of a different twist on a similar
Yeah,
concept.
I think I saw that. I think that's a cool concept.
Yeah.
So maybe I don't know.
It's weird.
These sci-fi dystopian movies aren't really the
If
solution
we were going
to
to
our
remake it, it would
problems.
have to be in a dream. Like they trap you in your metaverse, and then you have to run in the dream. Because in the real life, if you try and run, there's drone bombs and
that's
lasers.
it.
But in the dream, you can run away.
No, Ian, you run for office, and you
run to get away from office.
You get so a term is 4 years. You run for Congress, boom, you're in for 4 years. As soon as that 4 years is up, there's no re-election. You get locked in the Matrix.
Wow.
That's it. You're just out.
But we don't have the technology, so it's just going to be Mark Zuckerberg duct taping Oculus to your forehead and putting you in the metaverse. You can't get out.
You're covered in
Just wraps
bed
around your head.
sores.
Yeah.
The theory is there was the old play Dr. Marlowe by Faustus by Christopher Marlowe.
Dr. Faustus.
Yeah,
I've
Faustus
read
is
that.
dealing with the devil, Mephistopheles. And he said, "How did you get out of hell, Mephistopheles?" He said, "This is hell, nor am I out of it." So we're still in the Matrix.
Yeah, man. Maybe. I think the metaverse is coming. I think we're all going to get locked inside of it.
We're in
Think
a
so?
matrix. You can measure the matrix we're in if you know how much of something, what it is, and where it is, and you can measure that in the XYZ axis, this cube that we're within.
Okay, I have no idea what that means.
Yeah,
but
I
my
do.
my
You gonna do a
proposal.
spot check?
Define spot check. Define
Ian,
the
I
matrix.
got. You might
My-
have forgotten.
my
And then you can
proposal-
recreate it.
Everyone, my proposal is this: when we elect Joe Rogan as president in 2028, he should issue an executive order mandating DMT passport requirements for access to bars, restaurants, and universities.
Ideally.
Did you smoke
Trust
your
the science.
DMT?
What?
Have
Do
you
you have
smoked
your-
your DMT? That's what
Have
I'll
you
ask.
had your
smoked
DMT booster? It wears off.
I think to Joe Rogan's credit, I don't think Joe Rogan would vote for Joe Rogan.
No, I agree.
Good
I agree.
point. Love the humility.
That's true.
But it
And
would
the
be
great thing
funny
about
if, like,
Joe is it's his guests. They talk a lot about Joe Rogan, and he is a genius. He'll talk himself down, but the way he can sit there and listen to Jordan Peterson, you need a genius
He's
to do
the
that.
Larry King of the internet age.
Yeah.
And shout out to his guests. I mean,
There
really,
is something to be said about a passport for some kind of deeper understanding of reality. I don't think it's necessarily, DMT. That's the joke. But perhaps if we as a society were like, a service guarantees citizenship or something to that effect, you need to understand something. You need to do work and contribute for something in order to get something in return. Right now, it's we had that famous quote, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country.
Mm-hmm.
It's completely inverted these days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These
Well,
days
there's a war on citizenship. I mean, the
Yes.
whole zeitgeist now is to eliminate the distinctions between citizens and non-citizens.
New York's. You can vote.
So, I mean, they want you to be. It's offensive to the transnational progressives. They don't believe in nation states and sovereignty because it gets in the way of the communist utopia they're pushing.
Yeah,
And,
exactly.
and I wouldn't have said this 6 years. I mean, you knew this was out there among the Marxists for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But now there's kind of a rising communism in a major party here in the country this is their go-to strategy.
It's not coincidence.
I mean, when CRT is the guiding movement and narrative for a presidential administration, those pushing it must be very proud.
Dude, Build Back Better is a Klaus Schwab thing. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is part of the World Economic Forum's Great Reset is Build Back Better. This is where I first heard of it. And then all of a sudden, a year later, Joe Biden is saying those words as if we're going to do it without referencing Klaus Schwab. And please correct me if I'm wrong. If Klaus Schwab didn't say it, then I'm totally off base. But I remember talking about
it was all
this.
over Europe. I think Boris Johnson claimed Biden stole it from him because Build Back Better was all over Europe.
Okay.
Well, Nancy Pelosi used "Drain the Swamp" when she ran to take control of Congress in 2010.
Wow. Really?
There's nothing new under the sun.
Yep. And "Make America Great Again" was Ronald Reagan.
Yeah, Morning in America again. Morning in America.
This is exactly right. Klaus Schwab first started circulating the idea of the Great Reset, which uses Build Back Better integral part. So we are co-opted.
Are we allowed to say the Great Reset?
Yeah, the Great Reset is very, very plain.
Yeah. I know all these algorithms get triggered by certain words.
It's either directly influenced and has co-opted our president or indirectly. But this methodology of building back better with a socialized corporate political government state is in Joe Biden's head, whether he realizes it or not.
Well, certainly with COVID, initially there was this panicked, crazed decision-making on the shutdowns. Now it's vindictive and vicious, and they see it as an opportunity for dramatic political and social change. I mean, I don't think it's any mistake you had this Reddit thing pop up with "I don't want to work." After 2 years of people not having to work.
Yeah. Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to watch live, you can check out this channel Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Now, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, and if you want more unfiltered and uncensored content with all of these guests, go to timcast.com and become a member. All of these guests you know and love in exclusive segments on our website where we are unrestricted in what we talk about, so you'll definitely not want to miss it. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you all next time.